Trish and I will be your singing teacher. Today we are talking about preparing for a performance. So I'm going to take you through a step-by-step guide if you're preparing for any kind of singing performance. So let's jump right into it. It's important to cover the where, when, what, why, how, and who. So these are really important questions to ask yourself when you are preparing for any kind of performance. And I'm going to go through them one at a time. The first thing I'm going to cover is when and where. I'm going to group these two together. When and where. When are you going to be performing? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Where are you going to be performing? Inside? Outside? Is it a small space? A big space? Is it going to be noisy? Are you going to be in a room that doesn't have great acoustics? These are things you need to think about when you are preparing for a song. The next one is who. Who you're performing to really matters when you are choosing what song to perform. Are you performing to a family-friendly environment? Are you performing to just adults? Are you performing to more conservative people? These are really important things to consider when choosing your piece, because you don't want to choose something that is inappropriate or may offend the audience. You want the audience on your side, so you want to choose something that's going to be friendly towards the audience that will be there. The next one is what. So this is the specific of what are you going to sing. First off, you need to know, am I singing one song, two songs, several, and then actually look at what exactly are you going to sing. Now, when choosing what you're going to sing, you want to think about, is it age appropriate? Can I actually sing it? Is it appropriate for the setting? So that comes into the who. Is it appropriate for the audience? And do I relate to this? Do I understand what this song is about or these songs are about? If you don't quite understand what the song is about, I encourage you to do some research. Try and find what the composer was thinking when they wrote the song, or if it's a very old song and the composer wasn't interviewed, maybe look at some singers that you respect and their interpretations of it. And then after having done a bit of research on the particular song, if you still don't quite get it, still don't think you can quite connect with the text, with the lyrics, then I suggest looking at a different song that is similar in style. It's really important that we connect with the text and we understand what we are singing, because essentially we are storytellers. So we use words to tell a story, and if we don't know what the story is, we're not doing that song any justice. We're not actually upholding what the composer originally intended. So it's best to find something different. And just to add on to that, the same goes for children and choosing appropriate songs for children to sing. A lot of songs that I find children sing and children like to sing have a lot of adult context and adult themes in it, and they don't necessarily understand what they're singing about. It should be age appropriate and appropriate for the tone of the performance. There is often subtext underneath the lyrics that children are not going to understand, and that is often really inappropriate for children. It might be discussing something sexual or really intense romantic relationships, something that children shouldn't know and don't know about. And so it's not appropriate for them to be singing about these things. So I really encourage you to find stuff that is age appropriate for you, age appropriate for maybe a student that you have, and that it is something that they can relate to in their stage of life. Another what that would come in a bit later is, what are you going to wear? Again, that comes back to the where and the when. Are you going to be outside, inside? Is it going to be hot, cold? Is it night or day? The theme of the performance, the tone, is it going to be formal? Is it a bit more casual? Do you need to wear a ball gown, or can you get away with jeans and a shirt? So that's another thing to consider, so that the whole package, the song and the look, fits the performance as a whole. Delving a bit deeper into the song choice is why. Why have you chosen this song? Is it purely because it fits the theme? Or is it something that you really connect with? Or have you chosen it for a slightly more selfish reason? It's because you really, really love singing it and you don't care that it doesn't fit. I would really try and encourage you to choose songs that fit the theme of the performance, the tone of the performance, and also would really resonate with your audience. Performances go both ways, and you need to get the audience on your side. So if you're singing something that you really love, but the audience might not be familiar with or can't connect with, it's really hard to make that connection with them. So I would really encourage you to look at audience pleasers and things that people can really get on board with and really enjoy. In those cases, if you're choosing a song to suit your audience and you're not really in love with the song, the trick is to be that storyteller. Be a storyteller. Pretend that you love this song. If you are really selling the lyrics, selling the theme, the words and the story of the song, then your audience will be on board. And they will love it even more. So I really encourage you to think about your audience, think about what they know, and not just, I know this really amazing song and I want to belt it out in front of people. That might impress a few, but that might also alienate quite a few people. So I really do encourage you to think about your audience. Next is how. How are you going to be performing this? Do you have a backing track? Is there going to be a pianist or a band? Are you going to have a microphone, or are you singing just with your own power of your own voice? How difficult is the song? Can most pianists play it? That's a really important thing, especially if you don't have much rehearsal time with a pianist. And they maybe get the music a couple of days before, or even the day before, or day of. Make sure that you have music that they can play. And this actually goes for auditions as well. Make sure that you have music that a wide range of pianists can play. So don't go in with anything too complicated unless you really know that pianist or that band can nail it and knows that style really well. And then going back to the what are you performing, make sure you know how long you actually have to perform. So if you only have 5 minutes, don't pick like a massive epic of a song. Make sure you just pick one decent song, because that 5 minutes goes really quickly. If we think 3.5 minutes for a song on average, and then so you've got a few minutes either side, maybe you take a minute of introduction, and then maybe there's another minute of applause and getting off. So just make sure that you really know how much time you actually have, and you are smart about the song choices. Okay, so we have a song or songs that fit the performance brief. Now what do we do? First off, I'm sure you would have already done this, but maybe do a bit of research. So make sure that you really know what the song is about, what the composer intended, and maybe look at some other performances of that song. I'm not saying take a carbon copy of any particular performance, but just be a bit more informed about how other people have performed it, and so that will then inform your performance, and you'll be able to put your own spin on it, but you'll be able to do justice to what the composer wanted. The next thing is to mark up your score. So when I say mark up your score, you're taking a pencil and you are physically writing on your score or your lyric sheet. So the first thing that I would say is go through and mark where all the breaths are. Usually when you're doing this for the first time, you go strictly by where the punctuation is. And then as you rehearse it more and more, you discover that, oh, I don't need to breathe there, or I need to breathe here, so I have to breathe in the middle of a sentence. So make sure that you're marking where you breathe. It just takes the guesswork out of singing. I have a whole video on breath patterns, which is what that is, and vocal mapping. So I will link that right here, I think. Next is you start rehearsing the piece. So you might be working with a pianist or with a backing track. And so how the rehearsal period would go differs because of your accompaniment. Either way, one thing that's going to stay consistent is your continuation of marking your score with that pencil. So now you were going beyond the breaths. Now you were starting to mark in dynamics, stylistic choices, maybe words that you really want to bring out, tricky bits that you need to remember, and any notes that you want to make on the storytelling of the piece. Again, this is covered in depth in the video that I linked earlier. In the early stages of learning a song, it's okay to just sing through it using technique and making sure that you really know it well. But I do encourage you to quickly get off book or learn the song by heart. This will allow you to start to fully connect with the piece, connect with the story, and so that you can become that storyteller and you're not worrying too much about the technique or breathing or the tricky bits that you find difficult. On a really practical note, getting off book quickly actually helps to embody the song. It really helps to get the song in your body, which, when it comes to the performance and comes to nerves in particular, is a real asset. If you have rehearsed the song well and enough and it's in your body and you feel really confident about it, nerves are not going to be an issue. So nerves can really hinder a performance, but ensuring that you have rehearsed the song enough and that you really embody the story will help to combat them every time, guaranteed. Now, when it comes to rehearsing with the pianist or with a band, remember that you are a team. No member is more important than the other. It's also really important to note that a pianist who's been used to accompanying singers or other musicians is going to be really good at following you. So they take all their cues off you, they take the tempo off you. That's the speed of the song. So don't be worried if they're not keeping the tempo, because they're wanting you to keep the tempo because you're at the front, you're the one telling the story, they're the support for you. So they're going to work with you. It's also really important when you start working for the first time with your pianist to have a really clear idea of the vision of the piece, and also technical things like the tempo, again, the speed of the piece. And also, if you have made any changes to the music, make sure that they are really clear to follow. It might be a good idea to have your accompanist record the song after your first rehearsal so that you can go home and practice in between rehearsals and you get used to how they play the song. If you're rehearsing and performing with a backing track, you have a lot less freedom. But there are options out there for custom tracks so that you can control exactly what you want in the song. And now you've arrived at your performance. You know your song inside out, you're feeling connected with the audience, with your pianist, or the band that you might be singing with. You're excited, you're maybe a little nervous, and that's okay. Nerves are actually a really good thing when you harness them right. Nerves means that you really care about this performance and you want it to go well. So take a deep breath, stretch out that tension, gather yourself up nice and tall, step out onto the stage and sing with confidence. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!